for Corel, Windows 7, it means now bringing touch to the laptop,
right,
to the PC.
Right. So Corel, with software and Windows 7, we can allow people to interact with their content in a more intuitive way, and ways that they would naturally interact with content in the real world. It also creates a sense of intimacy for our customers, with their content. When you're talking about photos and you're talking about videos and you're talking about music files, but particularly photo and video, people, those are personal memories that they've captured, and it allows them to get into the screen and to interact with that content in a way that they couldn't normally do when they're several levels removed via keyboard or a mouse.
One thing I noticed is that everything's a bit bigger, so it's not about clicking on a mouse. It's a little bit, the thumbnails, for instance, are bigger for your fingers.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's all about redesigning your graphical interface. And this is one of the things that we spent a lot of time on, a lot of customer research and a lot of development time on. And what Windows 7 enabled us to do was to be able to remove a lot of the file menu structure that you see at the top of applications, and it's now graphical, right? So it's icon driven, and that requires a sense of intuitive design, and for customers to be able to instantly understand what those icons represent, what they do.
Go ahead and give it a flip.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you'd interact with a book naturally by turning the page, and so what touch allows us to do is, you don't have to learn to drop down a file and go flip page or click on arrows. Now you can instantly just use your finger to turn the page of a photo book, and this is actually this is building a photo book. You can also export this into a Silverlight file, and in that Silverlight file, which is executable on your desktop, you can share it in a way that your friends and families, if they have touch screens, can still flip through the book. So they can also page through using touch technology.
So this is ground up, brand new program. This isn't just an enhancement from your last edition, your last...
Correct. Yeah, Corel Digital Studio 2010 is a brand new application. It was built to work on Vista and XP, but also to take advantage of all the new features that are in Windows 7, primarily taking advantage of the multi-touch features that allow people to interact with their content.
So that's going to be one of the big drivers, you think, for Windows 7 is going to be the ability, if the software allows you,
Correct.
It's going to be touch, because obviously Vista wasn't a great example of an upgrade, and there were a lot of problems with that. And this is something that Microsoft has spent a lot of time trying to get this launch correct.
Well, personally, I think there's a lot of great features in the next Windows 7 OS application. I think I think touch will be pervasive on the performance PCs and in the Windows platform, and it will start in the entertainment sector. So web browsing, building your photo projects, sharing your photo projects, viewing your photo projects, building video projects and slideshows and sharing those, watching movies with a program like WinDVD that we have in the market that's touch-enabled as well. So I think Windows Touch is going to allow software vendors to bring a new element of interaction for the customers that are using these types of applications.
Now, you say you've done a lot of customer experiments with this. You've talked about a lot of research, but we just don't know yet, do we? I mean, it's a big time for software vendors and, of course, for Microsoft. It's just to see whether or not people are going to want this on their PC.
Well, I think from the customer research we've done, people have responded very positively to working with their photos and videos on a touch environment. I think when you, So, and I mean, there's an element too of working in touch that is there's an element of touch that's invasive in the way that you would naturally interact with the content if it were in the real world. And I'm not just talking about the fact that you're looking at a photo book and moving the page, but that you would also interact with your family and friends in a way that's much more it's much more derivative of your gestures versus actually sitting there clicking with a mouse or working in a keypad. You don't have to learn how to use touch. That's the great thing about it. You're born with the experience, right? You already know how to do it. And for a software vendor to be able to tap into your natural knowledge, and so you don't have to train yourself to use software, that's a huge advantage for us, and it's a huge advantage for our users.
And that starts now this week. That's the first generation. People
Exactly.
used to it, of course, on their on their mobile, but not on a PC or laptop.
Not on a PC, correct.
Yeah.
And the PC will elements of the PC for touch will be, I think, pervasive right out of the gate, and that's your entertainment. It's being able to browse the internet, being able to watch videos, being able to watch movies, being able to work with your photos. These are things you're already doing on your smartphone, right? So that bringing that to the desktop or to your laptop is a natural progression for most people that are working on PCs today. Beyond that, and where touch's relevance sits in the market space on performance applications and Word-based applications, that will come as software develops and enables touch and makes it more relevant for people to work in those kinds of applications.